Have you ever wondered how an AI tackles a really tough problem? Well, right now, it's a little messy. The latest AI models are becoming just incredible at reasoning, but they are wildly inefficient. We're talking supercomputer levels of energy just to answer one single question. But what if we could teach these powerful minds to think smarter, not just harder? All right, so here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First, we'll look at how AIs currently think, which is basically a giant, messy brainstorm. Then we'll zero in on the big problem with that method. And that's when we'll introduce a brilliant new solution called DeepConf. Think of it as a smart manager for the AI. After that, we'll get to the stunning results and wrap it all up with why this is such a huge deal for all of us. So to really get why this new idea is such a breakthrough, we first need to understand the way things are done right now. And like I said, just picture a massive, chaotic, and incredibly expensive brainstorming session. Okay, so how does a super powerful AI come up with one single, great answer to, say, a really complex math problem? Well, the surprising truth is, it doesn't. Not on the first try, anyway. It uses this powerful technique called self-consistency. And you can think of it like this. The AI asks hundreds of its own internal thinkers to all try and solve the exact same problem at the same time, each one taking a slightly different path. It's a kind of parallel thinking. The whole process is actually pretty straightforward, but the scale is just massive. First, the AI generates a huge number of these different reasoning paths. Then, it pulls out the final answer from each one. And finally, it just counts up the votes. The answer that shows up the most often wins. It's like a simple democracy, right? Well, not quite. Now, this brainstorming approach is powerful, there's no doubt about it. It really does boost accuracy. But, and this is a big but, it has a massive, expensive flaw. So let's dig into why just throwing more computers at the problem isn't always the best solution. And this quote from the research paper itself really gets to the heart of the issue. Every single one of those thinkers in that huge brainstorm gets an equal vote. It doesn't matter if its reasoning was absolutely brilliant or just completely nonsensical. One thought path gets one vote, period. And this means the model wastes a ton of computational power fully generating bad ideas. It's like you're in a brainstorming meeting and you force every single person to write a full 10-page report on their idea, even the ones who knew their idea was terrible after the first sentence. It's just inefficient. You know, you can actually see the uncertainty in the AI's own words. When a line of reasoning has phrases like, "but wait, let me think again," that's usually a huge red flag that it's going down the wrong path. But with the current system, it's forced to keep going all the way to the end. So if we can't trust every idea, how can we possibly tell the good ones from the bad ones while they're still being formed? Well, the answer, it turns out, is confidence. Not our confidence, but the AI's confidence in itself, moment by moment. And this slide right here shows the big shift in thinking. The old way, global confidence, was kind of like judging a book by its cover. You wait till the entire thought is finished and then you see how it feels. The problem is, a really good start could hide a total disaster at the end. The new approach, local confidence, is way smarter. It's like judging the book chapter by chapter. It can spot a breakdown in logic the moment it happens. And that brings us to the breakthrough itself, a method called Deep Think with Confidence, or just DeepConf for short. It's this beautifully elegant system that basically acts like a smart, super efficient manager for that chaotic AI brainstorming session. DeepConf works in two really clever phases. First, there's an online mode that jumps in while the AI is actually thinking, in real time. And then there's an offline mode that intelligently sorts through the results after all the thinking is done. The online mode is the absolute game changer here. Using that local confidence idea we just talked about, this smart manager watches each line of thought. The second one of them starts to get shaky or its confidence drops, the manager just politely says, "Thank you, that's enough," and cuts it off. No more wasted time or energy on dead-end ideas. Then we get to the offline mode. The manager looks at all the ideas that actually made it to the finish line. But it doesn't treat them all equally anymore. The reasoning paths that were completed with the most confidence get the loudest voice in the final vote. It turns a simple democracy into a meritocracy of ideas. So here's the big question. Does this whole smart manager thing actually work in the real world? Well, this is where it gets really, really exciting. The results are, well, they're nothing short of staggering. Just take a look at these results on a super tough math test.
A single try from a powerful OpenAI model, it gets about 92% right. The old brainstorming method, self-consistency, gets that up to a very respectable 97%. But now look all the way to the right. With DeepConf managing the whole process, the accuracy just skyrockets to a nearly perfect 99.9%.
That's right, 99.9%. It basically aced the test. It got almost every single question right, and it performed better than the old, much more wasteful method. But believe it or not, that's only half the story. Okay, now this is the most incredible part. It got that higher accuracy while using way, way less computer power. This chart shows the computational cost. The old method is there on the left. DeepConf, over on the right, is just a fraction of that. In the best case, it used almost 85% less computational resources. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's not just a little better, it's vastly cheaper. It's like getting a faster, more reliable car that also uses 85% less fuel. It's truly the best of both worlds. So what does this all actually mean for the future of technology and for all of us? Because this isn't just some small academic improvement, it has some really profound real-world implications. By making top-level AIs so much more efficient, DeepConf really helps democratize this incredible technology. It makes it cheaper for researchers, for startups, for everyone to use. It means we get answers to hard problems way faster, which could speed up scientific discovery. And on a global scale, it means saving a massive amount of energy and money, which helps reduce the huge environmental footprint of AI. And, the real beauty here is its simplicity. Like the researchers say, this isn't some brand new billion-dollar AI model. It's a clever technique, a simple yet effective method that we can apply to the models we already have to make them smarter, faster, and cheaper, all at once. So this leaves us with a final big thought. For years, the biggest barrier to using the world's most powerful AI has been its astronomical cost. If this new approach can tear down that barrier, making elite-level AI thinking accessible and sustainable, what new frontiers could we explore? What problems in medicine or climate science or engineering could we finally solve? We'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments.